Sawadee good morning. Welcome to Newsline. It's Wednesday's edition, 18th of December 2013. I'm Chalapansa Narula. In today's top stories, the Cabinet has approved the extension of the emergency decree in the southern border provinces. And in the business news, the Bank of Thailand indicated that the baht currency has not been affected by the political standoff. But first, let's have a look at today's headlines. The Ministry of Defence yesterday organised activities to celebrate His Majesty the King's 86th birthday anniversary. In celebration of His Majesty the King's birthday anniversary, the Defence Ministry yesterday organised performances of grand marching bands from the armed forces and 9 high schools. The activities were to show loyalty to His Majesty the King, who on December 5th celebrated his 86th birthday anniversary. There was also an exhibition entitled The Great Composer, depicting His Majesty's musical talent. People taking part in the event also had an opportunity to sign well-wishes books. In addition, the ministry, in collaboration with the 3 armed forces, will on December 21st organize firework displays. The highlights of the event will be the colorful fireworks from Japan and Switzerland. The event, held under the theme of We Love the King, will take place in Hua Hin, Prachuap Khiri Khan Province from 5:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. The Cabinet has approved the allocation of 3.8 billion baht as a budget for holding the general election in February of next year. According to Deputy Government spokesperson Chalitrat Chantrubeksa, the Cabinet agreed to set aside an amount of 3.8 billion baht from the 2014 expenditure budget in order to fund the upcoming general election. The purpose of the funding is to ensure that all agencies involved in organizing the election will operate smoothly and efficiently. Out of the total, 3.2 billion baht will be given to the Election Commission. The remainder of 653 million baht will go to 18 related agencies, including the Public Relations Department, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Royal Thai Armed Forces, and the Royal Thai Police. The general election has been set for February 2nd of next year in compliance with a royal decree endorsed by His Majesty the King following the dissolution of Parliament on December 9th. The Cabinet on Tuesday approved the extension of the emergency decree in the southern border provinces of Pattani, Yala and Narathiwat for another 3 months. The decree extension proposed by the Committee for the Administration of the Emergency Situation is deemed necessary as violence in the Deep South continues to escalate. The Cabinet meeting on the Army Club on Vipawadi Rangsit Road agreed to extend the emergency decree in the 3 southern border provinces from December 20th till March 19th of next year. The Cabinet did not endorse the Committee's decision to replace the emergency decree in Yala's Kabang district with the Internal Security Act, as the caretaker government does not have the authority to approve the change. The area has been deemed safe from insurgent activities. Finance Minister Kittirat Naranong has asserted the government will proceed with economic initiatives according to policies that have been laid down, although no new measures will be issued due to the dissolution of Parliament. Mr. Kittirat said that the economic affairs will be continued in order to prevent a stagnation and to ensure economic stability. Such affairs include diesel fuel excise reduction, assistance money for rubber farmers, rice pledging and provision of low-interest loans for Deep South businesses, and he said the Election Commission will have to be consulted regarding the continuation of these policies. Prime Minister's Office spokesperson Thirat Ratanasewi said the Cabinet was concerned about the economy because it could not make approvals in many important projects. He said if there is no election on February 2nd, the economy in 2014's first quarter could be affected. Academics in 7 major private organizations have agreed that a national reform must be based on democracy with participation from all sectors in the society. They also suggested that an organization be set up to oversee the reform. Permanent Secretary for the Prime Minister's Office, Thong Thong Chantarangsu, said participants in a special session of the government-sponsored seminar on national reform wanted the government to allow all sides to take part in the February 2nd elections, from campaigning to vote casting. They stressed on the principle of democracy as a way to reform Thailand. The special seminar session was held between academics and the 7 private organizations only. The permanent secretary was the moderator of the seminar. The academics and business people also agreed that all sectors should jointly develop rules for the government formed after the February 2014 polls, since this special government's mission was to reform the country. They further suggested the establishment of a reform organization, but did not discuss the matter in detail. United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon at his year-end press conference stressed the need for everybody involved to quickly act to improve the humanitarian situation in Syria, and he also called on all sides in Thailand to refrain from violence. Mr. Ban Ki-moon said 2013 was the year in which the Syrian conflict deteriorated beyond all imagination, and the people of Syria cannot afford another year of brutality and destruction. He said everybody should be deeply concerned by findings that chemical weapons were used on several occasions against civilians in Syria. He noted that the United Nations must also overcome the severe underfunding of the relief effort for Syria and call for generous support from member countries. Mr. Ban said 2013 was also the year in which the Central African Republic descended into chaos, and he was gravely concerned about the potential for mass atrocities. He called on the country's transitional authorities to protect people and said he welcomed the deployment of African and French troops who are already making a difference in that country. The United Nations Secretary General also called on all sides in Thailand to refrain from violence. He noted he welcomed the Thai government's decision to resolve the country's political tensions through a democratic process. The Kingdom of Bahrain has expressed its grave concerns over the escalating political turmoil in Thailand. According to the recent message sent to the Thai government, Bahrain called on all parties to seize opportunities to produce a common ground during the government-initiated reform forums in order to create a favorable climate for holding early elections in February. The Kingdom of Bahrain also emphasized the importance of respecting the law, asking all to express their political idea peacefully and to take part in the democratic decision-making process within the boundary of the nation's constitution. The Department of Livestock has revealed that Japan has approved Thai frozen chicken exports, expecting shipping to begin next month. Livestock Department Director General Thisadi Chao Suancharan said earlier in March his department had invited Japan's Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, or MAFF, to inspect Thailand's animal disease evaluation system, animal transportation, quarantine zones and poultry slaughterhouses. The MAFF inspectors also had a chance to look into the kingdom's bird flu preventive measures. The demonstrations are necessary to ensure Japan that the nation's products are free of bird flu. According to Mr. Trisadi, the Japanese administration on December 9th endorsed Thailand's bird flu-free status after it had processed the information collected from the visit. The Livestock Department and its Japanese counterpart have been discussing the details of the deal, expecting to reach an agreement by the end of this week. If all goes well, Thailand should be able to begin shipping its frozen chicken to Japan next month. Coming up next, Thailand is expected to export 7 million tons of rice next year. We'll be right back in a few moments. Stay with us.
Open the world of information. Embrace public participation. Present Thainess to the world. New dimension of the government's public relations. The 80th anniversary of the Public Relations Department. Creative media for the society. Mobilizing Thailand towards the ASEAN community.
เมื่อมนุษย์ทำลายสมดุลทางธรรมชาติและมนุษย์ก็เป็นผู้ประสบภัยพิบัติจากธรรมชาติร่วมสร้างอนาคตลดภัยพิบัติระดมพลังพลิกฟื้นคืนผืนป่าในทุกชุม ชนทั่วประเทศ
For those who have Android smartphones, you can download a PRD News application by searching for PRD News English in Play Store. That way, you can stay up to date with the latest happenings in Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. The Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives predicts that Thailand will export 7 million tons of rice next year, while rice production in the country will be as high as 38 million tons. According to Minister of Agriculture Yukhon Lim Lam Thong, there are over 3 billion rice consumers around the world, mostly in Asia. As the market has a tendency to grow wider, it is essential that Thai farmers have the knowledge to enhance rice productivity in order for Thailand to be more competitive in the world market. Thailand, according to the minister, is more advantageous than its competitors in terms of research, which has helped add the value to Thai rice. The minister believes that Thailand will next year export 7 million tons of rice, an amount close to this year's figure, adding that the country's total rice output in 2014 will be 38 million tons. The minister is also calling for a grouping of rice-producing countries in order for them to gain higher negotiating power in the world stage. The Thailand Development Research Institute, or TDRI, has proposed that a new government issue a law requiring warehouse owners to burn rotten pledged rice found in the silos in order to prevent corruption in the scheme. The TDRI also pointed out the upcoming government can discard the rice pledging program, but the process must be done gradually, otherwise rice prices would drop sharply. Mr. Nipon Puapongsakon, a TDI honorary member, made the comments at a recent seminar on future of Thai rice in the global arena, organized by the Thai Rice Foundation under the royal patronage. He stated that the new government needs to urgently examine the amount of stockpiled rice, saying that without the exact figure of rice in store, the country would have to unnecessarily spend higher amount of money on maintenance and face depressed prices for the whole stock. He also said that the lack of reliable pledged rice inspections would likely attract corruption. Thus, he advised the government to check the stockpile rice both in lists and in silos to ensure the accuracy of the data, which would be used to formulate an efficient rice clearance plan. The Bank of Thailand indicated that the baht currency has not been affected by the political standoff, as it has slightly appreciated in line with other currencies in the region. BOT Governor Prasan Trairat Warakul said the baht value is moving in a normal range, although there was no clarity on the current political situation as yet. The currency has strengthened a little bit, but the money market is still deemed uneventful. The BOT governor added that the Fed's meeting today might also have no impact on the market. The governor, however, declined to answer whether the BOT would need to adopt any special monetary policy during the political deadlock in Thailand. The baht opened at 32.01 to 32.02 against the greenback on Tuesday before depreciating to 32.1. The University of Thai Chamber of Commerce has revised down its forecast of Thailand's gross domestic product growth for next year to 3%. That's down from the 3.5% previously expected, as political tension is set to linger. The University Center for Economic and Business Forecasting said it marked the first time that internal factors have adverse effects on the Thai economy. The continued political protest has so far resulted in around 30 to 70 billion baht loss of revenue. Domestic consumption rate dropped to 2% and domestic investment expanded by only 4% due to delays in the government's infrastructure development projects and the confidence-eroding occupation of key government offices. However, the centre noted that Thailand's GDP growth for next year should be around 4.5%. Exports were projected to grow about 6.5%, with a total value of $245 billion next year. Inflation would stay between 2.8% and 3.3% in 2014. Southeast Asian markets gained on Tuesday, with most recovering from over 3-month lows, encouraged by upbeat data from the United States and the Eurozone ahead of a key U.S. Federal Reserve meeting starting later in the day. Stock indices in Thailand, Indonesia and Singapore recovered from their lowest close since the first week of September hit in the previous session. Indonesia's main index gained 1.4%, rising from the previous session's more than 3-month low close, led by financials, while Thailand's SET index ended 0.7% higher, also led by financials, recovering from its lowest close in the previous session since September 5th. Malaysia's main index hit an intraday high of 1,851.9 points before closing at 1,850.9, up 0.7%, led by local institutional buying. Foreign investors were net sellers of $33.4 million worth of shares. Singapore shares closed up 0.5%, led by a 1.4% rise in Singapore telecommunication. It recovered from a more than 3-month closing low, but trading was slow as investors awaited the outcome of the Fed meeting. Vietnam's benchmark VN index rose 0.72% on bargain hunting in cheap stocks after it fell to a 1-month low, that is. And before we take a break, let's have a look at the commodity prices and a bit more on the exchange rates.
ป๊าเมื่อไหร่เราจะได้ข้าวเยอะๆสำหรับเลี้ยงครอบครัวเราล่ะป๊า
ไม่ต้องกังวลแล้วนะครับอันนี้คือข้าวเมล็ดพันธุ์ดีปลอดสารพิษตามพระราชดำริของพระองค์ท่านเพื่อฟื้นฟูนาล้างและเพิ่มศักยภาพของพื้นที่นาเดิมให้ได้ผลผลิตมากขึ้นนะครับ
เข้าใจเข้าถึงพัฒนา My Idol คนต้นแบบจังหวัดชายแดนภาคใต้โครงการประชาสัมพันธ์สนับสนุนการแก้ไขปัญหาในพื้นที่จังหวัดชายแดนภาคใต้กรมประชาสัมพันธ์ For those who have Android smartphones, you can download a PRD News application by searching for PRD News English in Play Store. That way, you can stay up to date with the latest happenings in Thailand.
Welcome back to Newsline. The Interior Ministry has been assigned to expedite relief efforts for northern and northeastern residents affected by lingering wintry conditions. During the weekly cabinet meeting on Tuesday, the cabinet was briefed on plummeting temperatures in Thailand's upper parts and the villagers' lack of warm clothes and blankets. It was agreed that provinces which see the mercury dropping lower than 15 degrees Celsius for more than 3 consecutive days could withdraw emergency funds to assist the affected communities. The Meteorological Department has warned that a strong high pressure from China is covering the north and extending to the northeast. The mercury will drop further by 3 to 5 degrees Celsius. In the northern province of Lampang, the temperature in Mueang district has dropped to 11 degrees. The province's mountain peaks are experiencing temperatures as low as 5 degrees Celsius. Chiang Mai provincial authorities are requesting additional budget to cope with a cold snap that has shrouded roads with thick fog. Residents have also been advised against creating bonfires to warm themselves as the fire could spread. The Royal Thai Police has launched a campaign to discourage drunk driving in hopes of reducing road accidents. The campaign, introduced by the Thai Traffic Police, is aimed at raising awareness among drinkers of the effects alcohol has on human bodies and discouraging driving when under the influence. According to Assistant to the National Police Chief, Police Lieutenant General Reung Sak Jrit Ek. This is the second time the campaign has been held in Thailand in an attempt to reduce road accidents and fatalities, following the first campaign, which was focusing heavily on strictly enforcing law and punishment against drunk drivers. This year's campaign will emphasize on providing information for drinkers and helping them avoiding harming themselves and others around them. The campaign will kickstart on December 20th. Entertainment venues and liquor stores that are interested in joining the campaign should contact the Thai Traffic Police at 1197. The Department of Religious Affairs is set to host mass prayers at temples across the country to celebrate the beginning of 2014. Other religious activities held to mark the new year include morning alms offering, meditation and chanting. In Bangkok, a mass prayer will be organized in 12 major temples, which include Wat Arun, Wat Bawon, Wat Yanawa, and Wat Chana Songkram. Temples in other regions such as Wat Jedi, Luang Waravihan, and Wat Pramahathat will also host a mass prayer. Generally, every year, tens of thousands of Buddhists perform a mass prayer to usher in the new year at Sanam Luang in Bangkok. Pamphlets in English, Thai and Chinese will be distributed to locals and foreign visitors in a bid to provide information about the importance of the ceremony. And Samut Songkram province is playing host to its annual Mackerel Festival 2013. This year's event, held for the 16th time, will run until December 22nd. The 16th Mackerel Eating Festival, according to Samut Songkram Provincial Governor, will help boost local tourism and economy. The objective of the festival is to raise awareness among the locals of the environment and the preservation of marine resources. Visitors will find over 50 menus of mackerels, such as mackerel salad, grilled mackerels, spicy fried mackerels, and one of Thai's most favorite dishes, mackerel chili paste, generally known as nampik patu. The visitors will also enjoy a variety of cultural dances and musical performances, as well as singing contests. The Mackerel Eating Festival will be held in Samut Songkram until December 22nd. And that wraps up our edition of Newsline for the day. If you have any comments, suggestions, please write to us. Newsline.nbt@gmail.com is our email address. And we're going to say goodbye today with a picture, some footage of a dog breastfeeding a calf in Pitsunulok. Now, the calf was refused to be fed by his mother, and that is when the special bond between the two animals took place. I'm Chulapansan Narula. Bye for now. Sawasdee ka.